Well, look at that. Brian Ireland got bumped up straight away.
Yeah,
I got bumped. I got bumped. What do you want from me?
My partner in crime,
Big
the
up, Brian.
Tottenham on tour. How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, guys. It was a tough watch, but it was okay. I didn't expect more, and it sort of it was a 1-1 or a 1-0 result was where I was kind of at with it. So it finished where I thought it would.
Fantastic. And where do you want to start? What were the main positives you're taking from this island?
I think the ideal scenario or the ideal thing to talk about here is the midfield. I was terrified of Sarr and Skip, not because of the quality that they have in them both individually, but they hadn't played together. I think they played together once against Preston or something like that earlier in the season in an FA Cup tie. And coming in to fill in the shoes of Højbjerg and Bentancur is a bit of a stretch to ask for these very young players. But they were both really solid, arguably the two best players on the pitch. That was the thing that I really appreciated. I do think Royale had a very good game. As far as defensively it was concerned, was probably one of the better players on the pitch. He tried to get forward, had one good cross that I thought was very good. I think the front three were easily understood by their defense, and Conte didn't make a change where he needed to. They played three at the back for the first time. They played three at the back this season against any team. They played four at the back normally. But they countered Conte's three up front, knowing exactly how we'd play, and we didn't change. So Kane was marked out of the game, Sonny was marked out of the game, and so was Kulusevski, and we didn't do anything different to try to change what should have been changed in order to make something different happen up front, whether that's having Kane drop deep, having a different player come in, something to change what was going on. It was immediately obvious from the very first kick of the ball that that's what was going on, and nothing changed. Even when we brought on Richarlison for Kulusevski, it was a like for like. We didn't change the system at all, and I thought, as much as I love Conte, and I think like we all know he's a winner and all this stuff that we talk about in that scenario, I think he needs to figure out how to shift earlier and how to see what the other team is doing tactically to make a difference. And I don't think he did that in this game, and I think that's why, unfortunately, we didn't get any really clear-cut opportunities going forward. That was the thing that I struggled with. Other than that, I think we played all right. I think the goal they scored was a good goal, and it was a bit unlucky with some of the deflections, and it's too bad it happened the way it did. But I was just disappointed with the tactics from Conte. Again, as much as I love the guy, I think he needs to learn how to change his idea of how things should happen based on what other teams are doing to respond to how he typically plays, and that's what we saw here.
Do you know what, Alan? Talking of that, let's talk about that for a bit, because we haven't mentioned Conte at all in this fan show. What's your feelings on Conte? Like you said, you've mentioned obviously the lack of change of the system and substitutions. What would you like to see? Like if you were there and you were Conte, what would you have done differently? And what's your overall thoughts of him recently?
I just think from a management perspective, he needs to be less. He needs to be more malleable, less predictable. He's very predictable. And again, this team, Milan, in this scenario, knew that he was going to play three up top. He knew it was Son, Kane, and Kulusevski, because we played that front three for the past domestically. We played that front three as long as they're available this entire season. They knew exactly how to play against them. Isolate Kane, make sure Sonny can't get him behind. So whoever's on that side of that pitch doesn't let Sonny do what he needs to do. And Kulusevski, same thing. I mean, form-wise, he wasn't there. I think you need to change the formation slightly, even if it is for the last 20, 30 minutes. Bring in, if you're gonna bring in Richarlison, keep Kulusevski on, pull Kane into a 10, and have Richarlison play a 9 where he's a number 9. He's not a left forward or a right forward. He just isn't, especially on the right side. He's not even good there at all. He's good on the left side for Everton, but he's never been good on the right. So you have to. I just think managers need to be more malleable, and I think he's stubborn. We all know he's stubborn, but I think in this case, it's becoming so predictable, especially going forward. And when you have really good forwards who have expectations that they can't provide the thing they usually provide, hold up play for Kane, running in behind for Son or Kulusevski, when they're always marked, you're not going to get chances. And you watch this game, very few chances created from any of those typical scenarios that we're used to. The Kane-Son connection. Oh, there's the assist here, hold a play here, boom, hit him in behind. None of that exists anymore because everybody knows exactly what we're going to do.
And also, talking of defensively, Romero, what did you make from his performance
This is a funny
tonight?
one. So we all know Romero's got a bit of a thing in him, right? And I appreciate it. I do appreciate a little bit of the intensity, the passion, the grit that goes into what he does. He does need to learn to do something a bit different here. He's lucky to not get sent off. For me,
Yep.
I really think that's a red card further up the pitch a bit. You know, if it's a scenario where there's a potential goal scoring opportunity, he's sent off, and it's emotional, which I appreciate because we need that in the side. We all remember Dele Alli, and we all like when he got sort of curbed from being emotional, became less of a player. I think that's what will happen with Romero too. We need to develop him so that he can do that, but time his tackles a little bit better because my God, it was pretty sloppy. It's pretty sloppy. We got lucky because he could have been sent off, and then again, you know, he's red card means he doesn't play the next match, and you know, we all rely on him a lot, I think. I was watching earlier, there was a gentleman on, I forget his name, who was talking about him not being a top-rated defender. Center half. Yeah, Mike, yeah. I think most of his points I stand by, but I think that there's some things that he does that make him top class in his ability to replay and to get forward and to push the team forward, and that we don't have without him. And that really, from a transition perspective, especially without Bentancur, you need a player who's going to see those moments and push forward and win the ball back, and then get everybody forward and get into the opposition side of the pitch. He does that really well, and that is top class. That is something that very few defenders are able to do, and he does it really well. Having said that, he sometimes does what he did with almost getting a red card in that scenario, and it kind of fucks himself. So I think he is top class, but he's very young still. He's 22. I think he still has some development in him, but he will be top class. But he needs to learn how to do that effectively. Otherwise, he's going to get sent off too often.
Well, you know what I've got to say with that one, and it was just especially when you mentioned Dele Alli. I remember a few years ago when we were going for the league and we had Dele Alli, and we were going for the league. I can't remember if it was the Chelsea or Leicester season, but when he punched someone in the West Brom team, and then he was suspended for 3 because he lost his head, and then he was out for 3 big games. But then you look at Romero last season, where we said, you know what, he can't get booked for this game in case he misses Arsenal. He can't get booked because of this game. Yeah. And he didn't get booked. So
he did. He managed to keep going despite being booked.
And then he got injured for the Arsenal, so it didn't make a difference in the first place. But it just goes to show, when you compare Dele and Romero, I know exactly what you're trying to get at, but what I'm saying is it shows he can do it. He can.
Yeah, fair enough. And that was true last season, that he could
exactly.
But we're now in a scenario this season where he's not.
He just can't do
it. You know, like he's done it twice. It's not twice now, right? Like we've all seen it. Like this is twice in the last 2 games or 3 games. He keeps doing the same thing and getting caught for it, or getting called for it, and getting a card. So he's putting himself in bad situations, and he's putting the team in bad situations by doing it. He needs to be more. He needs to be more disciplined. He needs to be more of an adult when it comes to how to deal with those situations. We all want to see players go in and tackle hard and set the precedent. He did it against City, and it made the whole team kind of go boom, galvanize, right? Like you galvanize the player that does that, which I love when players do that. And he did that against City. But then you go into the next game, and he goes and does it, and it's sloppy, and he kind of does it in a way that puts us under the cosh, and you don't really want to be in that situation. So it's discipline. I think it comes from experience, and I think he'll get to that, and I think he'll absolutely be top class. I agree that he needs to deal with that before he can be considered one of the best, but the potential is absolutely there.
With that, and going into the home leg, obviously with Eric Dyer out, I've been asking this question a lot. Let's see if are you sticking to suit with everyone saying the back 3 of Romero, Longley, Davies, or have you got a different back 3?
I think that's probably the best choice, but I don't think that's what Conte is going to decide on. And again, I think, I don't know why, but I think Sanchez will start in the middle with Romero on the right and Longley or Davies on the left. But I think Sanchez will start in the middle. I don't know why that'll happen or why he thinks that's there's good reason for that, but I think that's what he'll do. I don't think it matters, though, honestly. Like, without Dyer, as much as Dyer is a complete waste case when it comes to like most of the time he's defending, it's sad. But he still is the best central defender we have. that says everything about where we are when it comes to our
Do
defense.
you know what, Ireland? I have to say with Sanchez, I think the only reason, and I've got a feeling maybe Sanchez as well. I've got a feeling maybe do that just for Leao, because that
Yeah,
guy looks like he's got the power and the pace, and I
yeah,
think he may be put there to nullify that.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not a bad
yeah. I
shout.
think that's a good shout. Yeah, you sort of have to tactically think about the things you're going to do depending on who's available. Our defense. It's so obvious. It's so we all know. I mean, we talk about it on every channel we're on here. I'm sure Stell's going to come on and have a wee chat about the same thing. How frustrating it is to watch our defense. How much better it could be if we had have invested in it properly. And here we are with yeah.
Well, you say
scenario.
that, Ireland.
I think 1-0 down away in any Champions League tie is normally not a bad result, but I'm concerned about how easily they dealt with our plan or lack of
Yeah.
plan when it comes to getting forward. That I don't think they're going to struggle with our forwards if they do the same thing, because I don't think Conte is going to change it. Conte has to change what we do going forward, not our defense. Our defense didn't struggle. Our midfield didn't struggle. Yeah, we got a goal scored against us, but we didn't struggle. We struggled getting forward. We didn't get anything going forward. We did not get it. How many chances created? What was the XG? It was like 0.6 or something, and they had like 1.5. Like, it wasn't even close. Like, and that tells me everything. Something's wrong with going forward, not defending. Defending, yeah, we need to be better, but not in this tie. It's not the thing that we need to be concerned about the most. We need to figure out how to score against this team. We create chances, good chances, because we didn't. How many chances did we create? It was minimal. I think Romero probably had the best chance, and that tells you.
I think Pape Massesar had a
he had a good
30-yarder.
shot. Good shot. Yeah, but 35 yards out, right, Brad?
Yeah, but also I'm thinking the one surprise that Antonio Conte could up his sleeve is my boy coming on in the second half of the second leg or something.
Oh my God, man!
Good old mate. You can shut your noise with your Emerson Royale. Alfie Devine is going to be Roy the Rovers and save the day. I have such faith and confidence in that man.
Again, shout out to the midfield today before I leave.
Big time.
You guys.
Yeah.
The midfield, Star and Skip were on point. Like, there was a couple misplaced passes, like you'd sort of expect, because there's a little bit of a nervous energy there. But when it came to like understanding positional play and how to manage the situation against in a very intense, difficult situation, I think they were brilliant. I think they both played really well for different reasons. Sar picked a couple of really nice passes, understood how to transition, which I think, we know that Bentancur is really good at that. And if you lose Bentancur, we lose transition. He made had a couple of moments, not as much as Bentancur, but it was a telling sign of like he knows what he's doing. He's an intelligent footballer, and we're going to get that out of him. Now, maybe not for the rest of the season. We're going to get to the level that Bentancur would give us, but it means it's not as dire, no pun intended, as it might.
Well, there we go, Ireland. It's always a pleasure speaking with you, brother. And we will be doing a show on Tottenham on Tour on Thursday at some point, Thursday afternoon, early evening our time.
Yes, sir.
Ireland, obviously, I will speak to you tomorrow. Pleasure speaking with you, brother. And we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Good to see you,
Look forward to hearing what you got to say about it. Been a pleasure, guys. Have a good one.
See you later on, Pip.